Welcome to Basic Brewing Video. I'm James Spencer.
Steve Wilkes.
I don't know if you can hear the cicadas outside. It's summertime. We may be seeing this in October
summertime.
or November, but it's summertime.
Yeah.
Well, this is our fourth and final beer.
And they've all been high gravity beers.
Yeah. We've just been sipping.
I'm a high gravity host.
That's what I've heard. So this is our third honey beer.
Yeah.
And this is your Mash Your Luck beer on an episode of Basic Brewing Video.
Yep.
Or audio. Radio. One of those shows. We got together, Scott Housel and Adam Ross and I got together and rolled the dice for you to brew this beer. Mm-hmm. Do you remember what the characteristics were? It was like
high ABV.
High ABV.
English or
British.
British.
Very high bitterness.
Very high bitterness.
Black
or yeah.
UK.
Yeah.
What's the final?
I think that's
ale.
Oh yeah, an ale.
Yeah.
Which it's all those.
And so you had to like fit all of those together
into a beer.
Into a beer. And so how did you accomplish that? We formulated this recipe on Basic Brewing Radio on a separate episode, you and I.
Right.
And I thought what you came up with, the technique that you came up with, was brilliant.
So what I did is I made a Bochet mead,
which is burnt honey.
Burnt honey and beer. So Bochet means you know it's burnt honey, and so there's a lot of techniques for making the burnt honey. What I did was I just did it on the stovetop. So I put in 3 pounds 2 ounces. I don't know where I got the 2 ounces from, but
leftover.
Yeah, but 3 pounds 2 ounces of honey, which I put on the stovetop in a saucepan, a big saucepan, because it boils up. So don't use a little one.
And be very, very careful.
And be really careful of because it'll, oh my gosh. At any rate.
Bad burns.
Bad burns, or a big mess. I mean, if it comes out on your stove, you ain't getting that stuff off. At any rate, I just let that slowly simmer for about 35 to 40 minutes. And what I did was I watched the color. I was looking for a very dark, if not black, at least really, really dark color. I took it to kind of a deep mahogany. So definitely not black, but a very dark brown, dark reddish brown, reddish black, and call it good. So that's the honey. And then I brewed a beer to put the honey in. So that's how I got the color mostly from the dark color of the beer comes from the burnt honey, not from, say, black patent malt or some other chocolate malt, something like that. So the grain bill is 3 pounds 2 ounces of honey, 3 pounds of pale ale malt, which is Maris Otter, 2 pounds of Munich malt, which was your suggestion, because I originally wanted to use, now I can't think of the name of the malt, but it was one that we couldn't find. It was a British malt, it's British. Anyway, at any rate, when we talked about it, we decided Munich would work as well and give you pretty much the same product. It has 8 ounces of brown malt, a British brown malt, Simpson's I think, and 4 ounces of peated malt.
And what size batch?
2.5 gallons.
Okay.
So a half batch by most people's standards. The hop bill is an ounce of Fuggles at 60 minutes, 4.5 alpha acids, an ounce of Fuggle at 30 minutes, 4.5 alpha acids, and an ounce of East Kent Goldings at 15 minutes. I'm very old school. I'm very Charlie Papazian.
It's the way we used to do it in the beginning.
I still do it that way. I was supposed to use British ale yeast. I thought I had some Nottingham. I didn't, but I did have some Kvike, so it was brewed with Kvike. And but I didn't put it on. It's not a hot porch beer. Fermented at about
room
68, 70 degrees. 2.5 gallon batch. Let's see here.
Starting gravity.
I'm looking for that. Starting gravity was 1097. Final gravity was 1006. And that figures out to be 12%. And I agree. We did an audio show on this beer a few days ago, and I agree. It doesn't drink that heavy. It doesn't drink that big.
No. Not drinking at all right now.
Oh, yeah, good point.
pour that sucker.
But But unless I
that's pretty.
Unless I can't read a hydrometer. Oh, and I broke my hydrometer on this beer.
Oh no.
The last one I had.
Cheers.
Cheers. So this is dessert. Oh, now look. Now when you hold up in the light,
oh, pretty.
it's beautiful.
It's got ruby red highlights.
Yep.
So maybe not black,
No.
but pretty darn dark.
When you just have it in depends on the light. Right there, it looks none more dark. When you get up in the light, it's beautiful.
Yeah, that's really pretty.
And you get that nice smoke hint.
That's from the peat malt.
Peated malt. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
That's good.
that's my favorite beer of the day.
Mine too.
We've had 4.
That just hits me just right.
That is really, really good.
It's
You'd think that it's going to be like gloppy
not
and
at all.
sticky and sweet,
Yeah.
but it's not. It's dry, not too dry.
Yep.
There is some sweetness in there. I do taste the honey. I think this particular sample is a little warmer than the one I drank the other day. The other day I didn't taste the honey as well as I'm tasting it here, because the cold was muting my taste buds. Man, that is good.
It's got a little bit of that caramel. I mean, it's a caramel, but it's not the same caramel that you would get from a crystal malt. When we talk about caramel flavors, it's the caramel you get from sugar.
Yeah, it's like literally
It's real
caramel, or
Yeah.
caramel, as we say.
Yeah.
Wow, that's good. I mean, the rest of the beers we had today were also good. This one is just like super complex,
Yeah.
but you could drink it in a hurry. Like I said the other day on the show, Scott Housel did his version of this beer, or the challenge, and he did a Party Guile, which you can hear on the episode. Also came out with a delicious beer. He his has more mouthfeel and is more of a sipper, kind of a holiday kind of a thing.
His was much closer to like a 1050.
Right.
And it was a big, chewy, holiday, cold weather beer. This is not a weak little beer, but
No.
it's not as heavy as that beer.
You could definitely drink a pint of this in a hurry.
Yeah, and then
If you're
don't
not
drive.
careful. Yeah, if you're not careful.
I can't think of much else to say about it as far as the. I've started with distilled water. I did a chemical treatment with calcium chloride, Epsom salt, and gypsum in the right amounts according to my brewing software for that batch size. Otherwise, it was a very uneventful fermentation. Uneventful. I have no horror stories. I didn't have to add honey at a later date. I thought it was a great beer. I like the English hops in it.
It's got a nice hop bitterness.
Yeah.
It's got, there's a chocolatey note that's going in there along with the caramel note. But again, it's not like drinking a chocolate bar or a candy bar. It's a lot more drinkable than that, consumable than that. It's just a super good beer. And I think we judged you to have done well in the Mash Your Luck challenge.
I could have done well.
I mean, I think you hit all the, except for maybe the, what was it we dinged you on?
Maybe the color.
The yeast.
Oh, the yeast, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
But
yeast
that
was
was it.
right.
I mean, and that was just opportunity. But other than that, I think I like this Mash Your Luck thing because we're taking these literally random characteristics, and then the challenge is coming up with a beer that is not, it doesn't taste like a Frankenstein monster. It tastes like it was done on purpose, and this certainly does.
Yeah, I remember when I was trying to come up with a recipe and all that, and I kept just kind of configuring, basically Russian Imperial Stouts or wee heavies, kind of. But of course, Scottish beers don't tend to be high in bitterness. So that didn't work. Now, an RIS, as I call them.
Because you're fancy.
I thought of that. And at any rate, I thought the beer just came out great. And I'm very happy with it. And I would brew this again.
Yeah,
I normally don't brew anything twice, but I would brew this again.
For sure.
I'd go to the effort. It was worth it. So as opposed to like decoction, which it's never worth it. I don't care.
Boy, leave your comment below.
Yeah, leave a comment below. But going through the Bochet process of cooking the honey, it's not hard to do. You do have to pay attention. Don't walk away. Don't do anything else.
And don't hurt yourself.
Don't hurt yourself. But because you're basically making candy. That's what a candy maker would start doing, something like that. And then otherwise, easy beer, and a really good way to get a big, dark, rich beer. It's not gloppy.
No.
I guess the honey dried out, honey would dry it out.
Yeah, yep.
And the Kvike is going to take it down. The Kvike is an aggressive yeast, so it's not going to leave a long. I thought I had Nottingham, but I also thought, Windsor would be nice in this too. Is it Lallemand Windsor or SO4 from Fermentus? Because those leave kind of a long finish, But I think that the Kvike yeast, Kvikes, man, that's the bomb. I mean, it just.
Yeah, I don't know that
that's the one you just keep in the fridge, tucked away for when you run out of everything else.
I don't think I would change a thing.
Yeah.
Great job.
Thank you.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. Woo.
Come and visit us online at basicbrewing.com. You can find archive lists of our audio and video podcasts on homebrewing. You can also find our DVDs and our brewer's logbook, where you can track and log up to 50 batches of beer.
That was way good. I was kind of shocked at how good that was. I mean, I had it the other day and it was good, but in this succession of beers, woo! Well, now you got the cookie.
Now I got
in the Steve Wilkes tradition.
That's all right. I can live with that.